Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 with the Chicago White Sox, coming off what can only be described as a disappointing season. It's difficult to spin a season where you lost basically 22 more games than the previous season. It's only a 9-game drop. Something worth noting here is purely by Pythagorean record, we expected to be slightly better. We were unusually lucky in 2038, including our championship, but we should have been right about the same talent level. We had some injury issues, and we had some really bad performance issues. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to add a couple of comments here. Inside World 422 said Joe Buck is a good baseball announcer, but he's still away from football announcing. I don't mind Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They're fine. If I'm listening to a football game and they happen to be calling the action, I'm just like, okay, whatever. There's definitely announcers that I like more. I really like Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. I've always liked Tony Romo's announcing style, although admittedly he's not as good as he used to be, but I think that's one of my favorite teams of announcers. But I don't really watch too much live sports anymore. YouTube TV has a pretty great feature where you can watch just the key plays, which is helpful because they keep track of a lot of teams. So it's a really nice way to listen, but I don't actually hear very much in the way of announcing. Also, I was interested to hear that Chris Rose is doing football, the guy that does Battle Bots, which is really exciting for me. I'm a Battle Bots aficionado. I'm a little disappointed we haven't had the next season yet. Hopefully sometime this year. But I was like, it's Chris Rose from BattleBots. He also did Major League Baseball stuff too. Yeah, show on ESPN, I think. I don't remember what it's called though. Anyways, Brian Guerra 7094 says he likes the Mets broadcast the best. TBS always hires Keith and Ron for postseason games. I think that's probably Keith Hernandez and Ron Guidry, but I thought Ron Guidry had passed away. Let me look it up real fast. I thought he had died recently. Broadcast team. Ron Darling. Okay. That makes sense. I was worried about Keith Hernandez, though. I'm obviously going to be partial to Cleveland. I love Tom Hamilton. I thought, Rick Manning, and who is Rick Manning's partner? It wasn't Tom Hamilton until recently, because Tom Hamilton only did the radio. Was it Matt Underwood? It might have been Matt Underwood. Anyways, that's how I feel. I mean, obviously everyone's entitled to like their own team, unless you said that Hawk Harrelson's a good announcer, in which case you're banned from my channel. I think Hawk Harrelson is the worst announcer I've ever heard doing baseball. If you're a White Sox fan, ironically, given the series, you're probably like, how dare you, sir? He's a national treasure. No, he's not. He's just the homerest homer that ever homered and only ever talks about the home team. Which I find incredibly obnoxious. Someone that used to watch, 90% of Cleveland's games when he lived in the market. Having to listen to his stupid home run call sounds like a chicken. I really dislike Hawk Harrelson. I don't even think he does the broadcast anymore, so a net boon for baseball, in my opinion. Also, we had 3 million fans last year, and they're treated to an 81-81 team, so we got to do better for them, guys. Thanks so much for the comments. I really enjoy reading them. I will try to remember to read them online if you do that. Okay. So what went wrong last year? This is a huge piece of what went wrong. I didn't talk about it much at the end of the video, but I really should have. Kyoji Doi basically being like a number 4 starter really sucked. It's no coincidence he was better last year and we performed better as a team. Him melting down wasn't... We lost... Now, Oscar Valbella, something to keep in mind here, he was very badly victimized by poor defense, it would appear, because his WAR was as good, if not was as better than the year before. He just got hit more often. And there's nothing you can do about that except try to improve the defense, which may be challenging. Jay Charles's decline continues. I hope at some point he has a little bit of a bounce back. 26 million for 1.1 WAR is not worth it. 26 million for 2.1 WAR is still too much, but it's marginally acceptable. Marginally. Alex Garcia's rookie season was actually pretty inspiring. I guess it's actually his first full season. I think he can hang for sure. Getting Chris Waters back is going to help a lot. Wait, where's Chris Waters? He's still here. Oh, I guess I just maybe didn't. Oh, he got hurt, and he just came back at the end of the season. Yeah, losing Chris Waters really sucked. I feel like we rely on him fairly heavily to be like a stalwart rotation guy. So yeah, we did add Alex Castillo in an attempt to try to make the postseason, but it didn't work, and we can't afford to keep him. So we've got some difficult decisions to make here in order to try to get where we need to get. I presently have. I could afford a 1-year contract for him, which seems really short-sighted. I would love to improve the bullpen. I'd love to improve a lot of things, and I think that's what we have to do here. So, the offense is not blameless, by the way. The offense definitely made some mistakes as well. Although they were second in the league, but this is the pitching staff. And the fact we have not yet solved the shortstop problem or the center field problem, or really any problems. We've just caused problems, essentially. We got some work to do in order for this team to be as good as it can be. Chris Hernandez is an acceptable right fielder, but we need more. We need a lot more out of the outfield. And one thing we talked about toward the end of last episode is we don't have players that are major league ready. We just don't. We have guys like Luis Solorzano, who is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with him, but there's also nothing good about him either. Jason Ransom is whatever. Yeah. It's not great, is the takeaway here. So we're going to have to go outside the organization to find our upgrades, which is not going to be easy. Let's even ensure a plane show. Oh, that's right, because Herb Berry got hurt at the end of the season. Also an important factor for why we played more poorly than I thought we would. Halpern is a 50 shortstop. I think Berry is 2 now, right? Berry's a 55, okay. Yeah. Halpern, Maini, Berry, and basically anybody at first base is pretty solid. Losing Edwin Hernandez is utterly devastating, and I hope that he'll be back very, very quickly because he is a key engine for this offense. Very key. Do we have any coaches to make decisions on? I'm not too sure. Yes, we have a vacant third base coach. We would love somebody that is personable. I mean, Anthony Nunez is a pretty solid coach, but he actually isn't that good. I don't know why his reputation is legendary, because that's not very good. Will Venable is also not very good. Messon is a really good coach. He's just going to be a bit of an issue in terms of staff cohesion. I think we really need to hire a personable third base coach. And Gregory Munoz, for all of his faults, I think does deserve that job. I would love to promote somebody, but I need to restore things here. I need to make people feel welcomed, so that's why we're going to go for him. Hitting coach Cameron Seitzer is acceptable, as is Dame Bubala. So let's go ahead and promote Seitzer to AAA. Let me promote Bubala to double A. And then Earl Snyder is fine, but not outstanding. I think he can take a promotion to A, but I think that's as far as I would promote him. He's definitely not ready for high A, in my opinion. We need a new pitching coach. Carlos Garcia is more than deserving of a promotion, I think. And let's get. Oh, none of you guys will take that because you won't see as a promotion. Preston Claiborne is solid. Julio DePaula is fantastic. Let's promote him to high A. Wait, I don't want you as a hitting coach. I want you as a pitching coach. Damn it. I'm gonna very quickly turn on commissioner mode because I genuinely hit the wrong button. That's my bad, but I don't feel like I should be like punished for that. You know, it's a fairly minor thing, but yeah, he was meant to be the pitching coach, not the hitting coach. That was Julio DePaula. Now I can appoint him anywhere. So he should be the pitching coach for Winston-Salem. All right, that's it. I'll try not to abuse my powers as the de facto commissioner, but sometimes misclicks happen. If I really wanted to be a dick, I would erase Edwin Hernandez's injury. But I'm not going to be that guy. Look, it's a single player game. Play it however you want to play it. That's my advice to you. Especially when you're first starting out, I think it's reasonable to do a little bit of cheeky shit. Play around with commissioner mode, maybe, but Brian Calmer is fucking amazing. Let's get this dude. But yeah, it's a single player game. Play whatever makes you the happiest and enjoy the game. And if that means that you do a little bit of cheating, I won't tell. I think what bothers me isn't when people cheat in a single player game, that's whatever. It's when they're like, oh, I'm so great at this game because I cheat. I had a college roommate that was like, I'm going to put myself in NHL, whatever one it was. Like, I'm going to get myself 99s and everything. I'm so great at the game. Like, no, you're not, dude. You suck. Yes. All right, coaching settled. Player development. Andrew Picard, it would be super amazing if you would fucking learn how to throw strikes. Like, that would be the most amazing thing in history, is if you could throw strikes consistently. 94 innings was very welcome. You did a very good job, but this walk rate is redonkulous, and I mean this in the worst possible of ways. If you can improve to even a 40, I think you're a possible, like, top tier starting pitcher. So how about you do that? Edwin Lucio just needs to do everything better, especially once any chance to make the roster in a realistic sense. Raul Barrera, I think letting him improve his control a little bit would make him a far more effective reliever. So we'll do that. Let's look at the prospects. The prospectingest prospects that ever prospected. Russ Hames, I think, definitely needs to work on his plate discipline. Ray Evans needs to work on his everything. 20 plate discipline is almost borderline unplayable unless they're very, very good at something else. Like, I mean, like, outstandingly good at something else. The Manipulator, Meredith. Okay, fine. Mike Sellers, let's have you work on your plate discipline. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's truly the best choice. Jason Bliss is an outfielder that happens to claim to play shortstop. That is what I'm learning about him, and that makes me a little disappointed because I didn't want him to be an outfielder, but he just sucks. He is not good at playing the outfield. In the infield, excuse me. Not that great playing the outfield either. Why did I even take him in the first round? I don't know. Maybe I was just cranky and I made a stupid decision, but the things to like about Jason Bliss, I don't make it sound like he's totally useless, but he's already losing some of his skills, and he didn't have a ton to begin with. So, um, let's have him work. Actually, Brian Bittner. Brian Bittner could be a center fielder for us. I think he is much more important to see. Holy shit! He put up 10 wins in A ball. I mean, that's pretty good. I wonder if I can get him to work on his center field skills. Yeah, Brian Bittner probably just made the opening day roster because I finally realized what he's good at. I mean, 22-year-old playing an A-ball, sure, but he's got a very realistic chance to make the opening day roster, I think. All right. Jason Ransom is not even worth what we're offering him. Thank you, goodbye, and good luck. Edwin Hernandez is worth anything he asks for. Probably not this much yet, though. Like, this is a good deal, but not when he just had a serious injury. It seems like a long-term contract is very stupid of me right now. I would rather pay him his arbitration amount and then talk again next season. Raul Valle. I mean, he only wants $3 million. He's a pretty decent catcher. I mean, Jose Hernandez and Joel Sampson are fine too, but I think he's a reasonable starting catcher, but he's not very good defensively, is he? This is true. This is true. I'm willing to run it back for one more season, but I do want to address that at some point. I want to find ourselves a really good defender that can also hit, at least a little bit. Maybe that guy's Jose Hernandez. Maybe I just punt on Valle. And I accept the fact that I'm going to get a bad hitter who fields really well and then let Sampson play pretty regularly just to strengthen the lineup. I'm going to trade Valle. I'm going to see if somebody wants a catcher that's superficially rated quite highly but is actually fairly flawed. What am I getting here? What sorts of offers? I'm getting very good offers, which is excellent. I would love to get a high-tier outfielder. Somebody I can plug in and not worry about things. I mean, Ricardo Ramirez is pretty incredible, but he's not really what I'm looking for, I don't think. David De La Cruz, maybe. He's not a very good outfielder. All right, let me look at outfielders. Let's start with that. Let's narrow it down some. Unless Ricky Castaneda is really good. He's actually very competent. He's a very good all-around outfielder. I think Castaneda might be worth it, but I think I want more. I think I want a prospect package. A blue and a yellow isn't really the best deal for me. Unless it's somebody that's really, really good. Guillermo Ponce is pretty good, but he's not great. You are ambivalent about this one. Josh Clark is a perfectly serviceable fourth outfielder. Zach Carter isn't that exciting to me. I think he's fine, but I don't think he interests me enough. Ponce's pretty talented. Dressler is fine. He's nothing great, but he's fine. If I could get a starting outfielder, I would make this trade. Pete Hack is actually pretty good. I mean, yeah, Danny Alexander is nothing special. Yeah, Jonathan Welter's nothing special. John Welter in particular sucks pretty hard. Danny Alexander is actually decent. If I could get you to throw in somebody else, I would actually consider this trade. Let me drop Welter, who sucks, and let me see who's on your current outfield. I'm not going to ask for Nick Sanchez. I couldn't afford him. Or could I? No, I can't. I can't. I choose not to afford him. There you go. That's the correct answer there. I'm not going to add salary to that degree. Ah. So that's why. You're actually not very good in the outfield, are you? You have one above average outfielder, and while Nick Sanchez is fine, I'm not going to pay that much money for him. All right. Then let's look at prospects. I would love a prospect caliber outfielder. Edgar Hernandez wouldn't be terrible, but I think this is the kind of guy who's just going to tell me to go fuck myself if I ask for him. I could possibly still get him. Mr. Han here is fine, I guess. Travis Widner is just mid. Like, there's a universe where I could see him playing innings for us, but they're not ones I'd be happy about. Ooh, Manny Morales actually would be a lovely addition to this club. Like, Morales instantly becomes a starter. He's a good defender, he's a prankster, he can hit well enough that he won't embarrass us. Can I also get Edgar Hernandez? Is that too much? Yeah, that's too much. Okay. Done. I'm actually shocked that the fans loved Raul Valle so much. Truly incredible. But we are a much better team as a result. We are far, far better. So I will 100% accept this deal. Like, Manny Morales is our starting catcher now. That's just how it is. And I think we're going to be a better team for it. So we're going to try it anyway. All right. Who else do we have arbitration mode? I think Alex Polito just goes at this point. I mean, he has been the definition of replacement level. Paying him any money whatsoever feels like a ripoff. John Crank is getting to the point where he's being overpaid. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he is very, very close. He's also very good at his job, though. That's the thing. He is very, very good. I feel like getting rid of John Crank right now is just not viable until I get a good replacement for him. Now he will eventually price himself out of my out of what I'm willing to spend. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Alex Casilla, I just cannot afford him. The man wants to be paid ace money, and he deserves it, but he's not going to get it from me. Alright, this feels reasonably good. Let's advance time a little bit. They want you to be their general manager. I'll give you an extension if you want it. I don't care. You've done a good job. Joel Dragoo, I will offer you 250 grand. $150 for you. And then Godfrey is just content. Okay. Doug Reinhardt has a better offer from somebody. 200. It's fine with me. Godfrey has agreed. Garrett Kozic is on the way. How is Garrett doing? You know what? He has had okay seasons. So good for you, my friend. I don't begrudge him doing well. I'm actually happy for him. Crank stays. Altamar stays. The fans love Hernandez. I mean, look, Hernandez isn't going anywhere. Provided he stays healthy. That is a very difficult ask to pay him the money he thinks he's worth if he isn't. If he's getting hurt. The fuck is wrong with you? You're a third base coach. I'll give you 300 grand. I think that's reasonable. I think it's an acceptable sum. Okay, good, 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 good. We got everybody. Genius. Jay Brown. That's a name I hadn't thought about in a while. Alright. So let's go to coaching and let's make sure. Oh, you already set it up. Beautiful. Alright. I am hoping that this will improve. Because we've got pretty nice, personable people here. Like, the biggest person people don't like is Ryan Rayburn, and he's my scouting director. He's done a great job, so. Adam Wiley 100% is in the conversation to start meaningful games for me next year. 100% he's in that conversation. I think there's a lot of people that could have a big role in this club. Do I get sneaky and try to trade Ruben Blanco? Does somebody maybe want him? I could be interested in an outfielder. Mario Vera is uninteresting. Chris Ehrlich is uninteresting. Tim Sutton is uninteresting. I'm seeing a lot of uninteresting players here. Jaden Summers doesn't really grab me either. Ben Romero is fine, actually. I like his the fact he's a captain, the fact he's a competent defender. He's nothing special, but he is someone I could potentially take. I like DJ Schmidt, but he is very obviously going to have a very specific skill set that we're going to have to pay very close attention to. He is the best player that I've seen so far, though. And then I saw Steve Myers, who is better. Yeah, Steve Myers is the way to go. He's a more well-rounded hitter. He's a competent defender at 3 outfield positions. Let's get Steve Myers on board. Can I also have... David Covarubio isn't that great, but I guess he's okay. What about David Covarubio? No. The thing is, I get what he's trying to say. Ruben Blanco looks like he could be like a medium-tier starting pitcher. The problem is that I have loads of guys like this, and I don't have as many competent outfielders as I'd like. So this is a smart decision for our team, even if he disagrees with it. I could get Redford Daniel. I actually like him a lot. Okay, you think I'm drunk? I am not drunk right now. Cuevas is a no. Zach Green is okay. I think we're just stuck here, and I think we just accept the fact that we're probably making a trade that's short-sighted at best. But Steve Myers actually a chance to play meaningful games for us, so I think we take that. We'll make room for people. I don't need Corcoran. I'm gonna trade Corcoran, and then that'll be my last trade for right now. I just don't need him. Nothing about Mike Corcoran is required for this club. Jesse Bingaman is really good. Like, holy shit, is he good? I'm not gonna look at anybody else. Done. Mr. Bingaman, you're really good. Like, really, really good. Hey, Josh Campbell, go away. You no longer interest me. You're no Jesse Bingaman, that's what I've always said. You're a 41 reliever. What are you if I set you as a starter? You're 42. So yeah, very, very much a possibility here. Very possible. And then Pablo Craig is a first baseman. I don't really need him. I'm gonna make one last trade. I know I said this is my last trade, but I lied to you. I'm sorry. If I just look at prospects, because I'm not like if I'm not getting a quality outfielder, I don't think there's anything I want that desperately that I want to trade for somebody that makes money. I like AJ Pacala actually. Yeah, you know what? You win. And then Mr. Pacala, Mark Woods is a pretty good center fielder, but that's all he's got going for him. Matt Closey doesn't even have that. Let's try to sneak you through waivers. I just see talent in the outfield. And Pacala can actually play center field if I asked him to. I also had that one rookie, Brian Bittner. He's also got a really high probability of getting some looks. Harry LeChance is not a bad pitcher, but I don't really need him. I just don't care. I really don't care. We should probably flag you as a former Sock, and the same thing with Corcoran. And maybe Ruben Blanco too. Honestly, Ruben Blanco is probably the most likely to succeed out of all the guys that I just traded. But we need to improve the roster. Someone here won a gold glove. It is Bill Shiflett. I mean, he's got to do something, right? Let's just send him up to free agency filing. I don't think there's anything else I need to like pause for. No. Silver Slugger for Edwin Hernandez is pretty tasty, especially as he missed a big chunk of the season. Tells you how good he was. Now, realistically, I don't think Edwin Hernandez is back for opening day. And so we're going to need a DH in the short term. I don't know who that is, but we're going to need one. I mean, okay, the DH is obviously Danny Rios. I don't know why I'm even asking that question, because it's very clearly him. There is a future where we actually trade Shiflett. Bittner is frustrated. Well, stop sucking. That's my advice to you, friend. Just, what if you didn't suck? Alright. Fragments of filed. Great. What do I want? I feel like we've got a pretty solid rotation. I think we've got enough intriguing young arms that I don't think we need to add to the rotation. The bullpen could definitely use veteran guidance. I think a solid veteran reliever would be a very welcome addition to this team. Where'd you finish in reliever of the year? You did not even finish in the top 3. Whatever. I've got a lot of very raw outfielders. There's very few people that I actually trust to play every day. And Rios is not playing in the outfield, so it's still very much an opening for a useful outfielder. Because Rios is going to play right. Someone's going to play center, possibly Picala. Especially if he has a good spring training. I think that's a job he could hold down. So, outfielder and bullpen is what I'm looking for. Those are my 2 positions I would love to get additions at. I mean, Chris Benitez is worth $56 million. That's not going to happen. So we're not even going to entertain that possibility. Let me start with relievers. I'm looking at someone that's fairly cheap. I could add Matt Cooner. He just wants a minor league deal. That's whatever. I'm willing to consider that possibility. A guy like Jerry Delgado, I think, would be a pretty solid addition to our current bullpen. Let's add Jarrah. He wants a 3-year deal for that little amount of money. I think I can live with that deal. I think that's fine. I'm not any Yamamoto, although I am tempted. Actually, very tempted, but no, I don't think that's what I'm looking for. And then maybe add Josh Price too. No, not Josh Price. Josh Price doesn't interest me. Bring Alex Mendez back, who's somehow worth $5 million, which is kind of wild. The problem is, between Crank and Horner, I've got a lot of money allocated to my bullpen. So I really want inexpensive veterans to fill it out. I don't hate Josh Price. Don't let me think. Don't be convinced that I hate him. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't really need a lefty, and I definitely don't need a lefty that's not that good. Alspawn is too much money. Mendez is too much money. Alright, that's enough for right now. Let's look at outfielders. And sort by overall, please. Because I want people that are, like, established, useful players. This is way too much money for a guy that's injury prone. Like, I think Albertini would be a wonderful addition to the club if he could stay healthy, but that is not something I'm willing to gamble on. Andre Serrano isn't very good. Josh Pape is okay. He's got nice speed. He's got an okay skill set, but maybe he's not that good. Maybe it's just a shitty class. Alex Estrella is fine. But I don't think he's that great. Without like a really surprisingly good veteran, I'm not really in the market to spend money on an outfielder. If I look for center fielders that have at least 60 defense, what does my market look like? I'd rather get Anthony Pack Jr. for, what is it, $8 million? Who does most of the things that I want, versus paying $3 million more for Albertini, who might, like, his bones might disintegrate. Let's grab Mr. Pack. I think this is a fine outfield contract. Let's do that. Is there anything else that I want? I think we've got enough starting pitching. I feel good about. I think we have plenty of starting pitching. If we need it, we have it. Shiflett, Halpern, Barry, and Maini are all pretty good defenders. Maini's probably the worst of the bunch, and even he's at least fine. Um, yeah. Like, this is just a difficult roster to truly evaluate at this point, and I'm not seeing any veterans that really move the needle for me, and I don't want to spend money on that if I'm not sure that they move a needle. Do I have a good utility guy? I think Art Isbell is a perfectly fine utility guy, at least for now. I don't really feel like spending money on a utility guy unless he fills a role that we need. Plus, I could just use Billy Reeg if I was that desperate for a new utility guy. Jano? Okay. Nick Ambrosio, like, washing out makes me a little bit sad. Like, there's a chance where I thought he would actually be a pretty solid starting pitcher. I think he actually turns into a fairly good reliever now. I think that's probably his future with the club. All right. I will kick the tires on utility infielders. If there's one that's like really solid, I might be willing to do it. Kyoji Doi is lazy. That's gross. Don't be gross. How much money is Castillo wanting? He actually wants less money now. He's probably not gonna have to play for the White Sox. You know what? That's fair. I mean, Joe's not terrible, but he's far, far overpaid for what he's asking for. Yeah, I can't give you what you want. I can't give you what you really, really want. Hoten Kuroda. Alright. I can add him because he'll cost me nothing, which is a good amount of money to require. I'm gonna guess he gets a bonus if we promote him or whatever. I just don't want Lantigua back. He doesn't do what I want him to do. He's kind of shitty at his job. Rafael Flores is okay, but I don't think he has. I don't think he offers anything that Isbell doesn't. Yeah, I think we just roll with what we got for now. Who's gonna DH? Actually, factually, who's gonna DH for us? That is worth considering, in point of fact. A 1-year deal for somebody who's a really just like a top tier hitter doesn't have a good position is exactly what we need. All batters. Like, look, these are guys that are not coming to me. Like, it is known. I mean, he cost me no money, so sure, we can try this out. That might end up being an underrated signing this year. The thing is that guys like Condon and Reyna are probably getting all the money, and I'm not willing to pay that for essentially a 1 year guy. Like, I'm just looking for a reasonably skilled bat who can hold down um the DH spot. That's what I'm looking for. That's my objective here. Eddie Castro's not good enough. Johan De Los Santos actually is kind of appealing, except for his gigantic salary, which is less appealing. $7 million is way too much money for a guy that hasn't hit in a couple of seasons. I don't hate Dan Bolton. I just don't think he offers us anything. I think he's just whatever. Hey, Yorkier Bautista's still hanging around. How are you not listed as a former Sock? I think even $4 million is too much for him. We need to move on in center field. Whoever we end up with, we've got to move on. Charlie Condon isn't happening. He's not walking through that door. The baseball door. Chris Ehrlich is whatever. These are all guys that'll still be around later on if I choose not to take anybody right now. Maybe I do want Chris Ehrlich. Maybe he actually is worthwhile. Does he want to Major League deal? No one's a minor league deal? Okay. I'll offer him that deal. This is also a great time to look very closely in spring training. Oh, not spring training. Was the word I was looking for. Rule 5. Rule 5 could be a great place to find a designated hitter. So that's where we're going to look. I like Chance Livingston a lot, actually. I like him a gigantic amount. Yeah, the rest of the deal isn't good enough. If it was Livingston and more useful players, I would do it. What is Dylan Hutchinson's deal? He has deals that he's acceptable. No, that's a bridge too far. I respect that. Can he be anybody but John Crank for him? Wait, you'll do it just for money? What if I offered you $5 million cash? No, only if we give you Chris Hernandez. I'm not giving you Chris Hernandez. That's not going to happen. I like you a lot. I do like this deal, except for the fact that everyone but Livingston sucks. And for that reason, I must decline your proposal. But I do appreciate your making it. Hmm. I don't need an injury-prone right fielder that can't throw anymore. That seems like something that doesn't interest me. Cool. Any biggins? Wow, Jacob deGrom is basically screwed. He's not making the Hall of Fame in this save, which I find highly dubious, but okay. I'll vote for Gunnar Henderson. I'll vote for Manny Machado. I'll vote for Julio Rodriguez and Juan Soto, most definitely. And Blobby Witt Jr. Tariq Skubal, okay, fine. Adley Rutschman, sure. This is an unexciting Hall of Fame plus other than Juan Soto. I think should probably make it in pretty easy. Bobby Witt should have already made it in. Like, this is ridiculous that he even has to wait one full year given how good he's been in the league, but you know, whatevs. There's just not 15 people worthy of the Hall of Fame in this ballot. I wonder if Ito's still playing. Maybe he's still playing. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's retired. Bittner is exactly the same as he was before. That's not a huge surprise. It's a bummer, a little bit, but it's not a huge surprise either. Um, Ray Evans, can you please baseball more effectively? Wait, where did he go? Oh, we're doing this shit again. Don't do that game. I don't care what you all have to say. There you go. Well, he's already at the facility, isn't he? Maybe? Yeah, he is already there. Okay. Game, I'm gonna need you to stop changing the fucking scout dude. Work on your play discipline, I guess, Brian Bittner. Meredith is struggling. That's sad. It's real sad. Alright. Hmm. I'm not that crazy about any individual player. Kuroda wants more money. Yeah, alright. Like Kuroda could be the guy that I'm looking for, the guy that that could be our designated hitter if we need one. I think that's a reasonable take. Dusty Binkley's not bad, but like he doesn't help me right now. He makes me worse off right now. So I don't think that's a trade that I'm willing to take. If you guys would be super cool and deliberately not sign until the Rule 5, I'd be pretty happy about that. Jared Delgado is actually pretty important to me. Um, I will engage in a slight bidding war with him. Oh, you wanted a signing bonus. That's your issue. Okay, fine. Whatever. Are you fucking delusional? Why would I trade a cost-controlled, pretty damn solid starting pitcher for basically nothing? Are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're not completely and utterly mad? Have you taken leave of your senses? Probably. We did get Pack. So we're gonna go and promote him to the Major League roster. I don't think anybody takes him in the Rule 5, even if I don't add him to my roster. I don't want to have that spot open up, just in case. We got Delgado, which is pretty great. That's a really nice addition to the bullpen. A very solid choice. Um, pardon me. Jojo Tillman, I'm going to go ahead and waive you again. Because I want a 40-man spot open. That's why I'm waiving you. I want to be able to grab a useful player off of the Rule 5 if there is one. Auto draft until I get to pick. I care very much about. I could take a veteran reliever. The right reliever might actually be pretty good on this team, like a Nick Lee. I like Nick Lee, actually. Let's take him. I think that's a reasonable decision to make. I'm going to try to sneak Mark Woods through waivers. I don't think anyone's going to take him, but maybe they do. I don't know. Because I still want to look for a hitter too, but I think Nick Lee was a pretty nice reliever dude. DivCon is power and nothing else. That doesn't really appeal to me. Just look at batting. Oh, wait a minute. Get rid of that shit. I don't care if they've been in the majors before. Give me batting ratings. Look at BABIP. Brett Love doesn't really interest me. It doesn't really excite me. Art Brock, maybe. We start looking for power. Eduardo Reyes is somebody that could be okay. He's got so much raw power. This is the exact kind of player you take Rule 5 draft shots at. Carlos Gutierrez is actually better, though. Like, he's more well-rounded. Plus, he used to play for me. Like, this is just delicious at this point. Yeah, we'll take Gutierrez. I think that's fine. And then I think that's it. I don't think there's anybody else that I want to get involved in. I think we've got our 2 Rule 5 picks. And I lost Luis Solorzano and Billy Reed. Solorzano's whatever. He's a mediocre outfielder. I have plenty of those. Reed hurts a little bit more. Like there's definitely a universe where Billy Reed is an important piece of our team. But I'm not that upset by it. Like I don't think any of that changes the needle very much. You can both go to the minor leagues and enjoy your time there. I will get a 40-man spot back as soon as I add what's this? Oh, Kuroda finally signed a deal. Nice. He's got a chance to get some attention from me. Man, this is a very fascinating deal for me. But I don't think I can do it yet. I understand that he's a pending free agent, but I don't think that means that I rush right now to make a move, especially when I want to win another World Series. I mean, I don't really care about Jose Altomar, but even so, this is like not interesting to me. It is unexciting. I just finished my last playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. I didn't quite 100% the game, so there's a glitch with one of the trophies, or the achievements rather. Um, where sometimes the one of the Phantom Liberty, the part where you steal cars for El Capitan, it doesn't work. So that's a bit of a bummer. Soto, Machado, and Henderson all made it. That seems reasonable to me. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I've been doing with my video games lately. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, but I have had a ton of fun with it. I love the game. I've seen all the endings. I might play it again someday, but I want to give it a nice long break. Um, Maybe if a new patch comes out, that adds some interesting new quests, I might consider it. Maybe the Charlotte Atomics. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, fun. We can have ourselves an international free agent as a treat. All players. I mean, I'm gonna grab a hitter. Roberto Chavez, you are a terrible, terrible defender. Bob DeLeon, you're not terrible. You're not great, but you're not terrible either. I like Sergio Garcia or Sergio Garza, but not just because his nickname is Goober, which is amazing. But because he's a leader and has good work ethic, I think that. I mean, I'll look at Henry Santiago actually before I make any changes here. No, he only plays first base. Ooh, I wouldn't Peralta. No, I don't like Peralta as well as I like Garza, who also has a low strikeout rate. Like, this is actually a really great player who's athletic enough to hang in the outfield. There's some risk with him, but I think it's a risk I'm willing to take. 484000. Welcome aboard, presumably. I didn't trade away Alex Castillo, did I? Oh, yes, I did. I didn't trade him. I had no chance to keep him. What happened, Alex? Wait, why can't I click on him? Like, I bet you got paid $20 billion. Like, there's nothing I can. Like, I can't compete with that. So, my fans just need to shut the fuck up. Remember, I'm the guy that won you 2 World Series championships. Settle down, guys. Settle down. Garza wants to play in Baltimore. I can't actually compete with that. Let's try for Henry Santiago then. I know he plays first base, but that's not a deal breaker. I mean, look, the problem is I don't have a very high cap. So there's always every possibility that I just get outbid and I can't do anything about it. Nope. I get it. These are like incredible players that deserve the money that they're looking for. Let's go for Tony Lopez. I think he's a no, we're not going for Tony Lopez. That's fucking stupid. Zuniga doesn't interest me. Roberto Chavez can't play the field at all. Bob DeLeon. Bob DeLeon is probably interesting to me. Um. Oh, yeah. We already tried him, didn't we? Lame. There's no way Edwin Peralta signs with me, right? Like that. This is just a foregone conclusion. Oh, maybe not. Let's try it. Come on, mate. You can add with Edwin Hernandez. Doesn't that sound incredible? You can be best friends with him. It'll be great. We got Edwin Peralta, which is pretty tasty. Kyoji Doi is getting worse, which is not tasty. It's the opposite of tasty. Daenerys is getting better hitting balls in the gap. That's pretty exciting. I'm cool with that. I love it. There are an awful lot of spots that are open for competition in spring training. Here are the guys that have a guaranteed job this year. Wow. Okay. Oof, ow, owie. Barrera, Crank, Delgado, and Horner are all guaranteed to be in the bullpen. Where's that one catcher we just acquired? The fuck's his name? Like, it was a big deal that we acquired him. I got really excited about him, and I don't know where he went. I should have, like, shortlisted him, huh? It's not Gary Waters. It's not the invisible hand of the market. It's not Russ Hames. The fuck did he go? It's not Christian French. I mean, it could be Christian French. There is a world in which it is Christian French, but it's not Christian French. The fuck was that catcher's name? Did I get fucking tricked? Alright. Let me look at the transaction log. And a lot of those trades were made in November, no, December. Oh, I think it's not considering them to be major transactions, but they are transactions, dude. What are you talking about? Where are all of my transactions? I literally traded people. Oh! That's why it's looking for 2039. Thanks, game. Alright. I started making trades in October, right? Yeah. Manny Morales, where did you go? What the fuck? What? How did you get? How did you become a minor league free agent? Like, I'm happy to get Dan Alexander and Dan Hatcher for sure, but this is bullshit. Like, I wanted him to start for me. Now I've got to fucking trade for him. What a dick move, Cubs. Fuck you. I am pissed. This is some bullshit, man. The game's like, oh, her. You didn't. I guess I should really be pissed off at myself. I really can't be angry at the game for my own transgressions because I did a stupid thing. I guess it's Christian French is going to get a chance to get some reps here. I would love Brian Bittner to get some attention there. Kuroda, Herrera, Ehrlich, Cooner, it doesn't matter. The rest of this is fine. Alright. We're going to run a 6-man rotation. Who do we got? Alright. Set them all up. I can't play Edwin Hernandez. He's literally injured. Let's try this again, dude. Alright. I think Anthony Pack Jr. is leading off. I'm not sure I believe that much in him, but I'm willing to let him play. Obviously. We're playing Jose Hernandez as the catcher. That makes sense to me. Kuroda's the DH. That's fine. Alright. Losing out on that catcher really makes me salty, but I really have no one to blame but myself, so I'm not gonna, like, cry about it or anything. I should have realized that, he needed to go on to 40-man. I mean, getting injured right now is not a great look for you, Pacala. We might lose Jose Hernandez already. Oh, no. How long is he out? Danny Herrera's out for 2 to 3 months. I'm just going to send him to the minors because he wasn't going to make the roster anyway, I don't think. Hernandez must be fine. Okay, that's fine. That's good to see. If Edwin Hernandez comes back on time, and he is what we expect him to be, I will be extremely happy. And I will feel very good about our chances going forward. I could use Danny Rios for 4 to 5 weeks. That's fine. I didn't need him anyway. Bro, I don't know what your problem is. You have picked the worst possible times to get hurt. I guess it's never really a good time to get hurt, is there? But Bingaman, I don't really care. Smoke to St. Patrick's Day. Fine. Bingaman's gonna miss another 1 to 2 weeks. Like, bro, just have you considered not being injured? Have you tried that? Bet you haven't tried that yet. I think losing. I think being without Rios and Hernandez is going to really hurt this offense. Um, so we're going to be off to a pretty cold start, I think. Which is kind of what happened last year, too, right? Like, we were off to that really ice cold start because Rios took forever to start to hit. But we'll figure it out. All right, we have 41 players. All right, I think that Andrew Picard makes the opening day rotation, which is nothing that I wanted even a little bit. But I mean, he's probably like got the best stuff of any pitcher that isn't already having a big role, so we'll figure it out. Question mark. All right. I got to get rid of 6 relievers. I'm going to wave Jaster here and see if he comes back to me. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I want Adam Wiley pitching meaningful innings in the majors this year. Rockle can go to the minors. I do want Bingaman. Actually, I think Bingaman has a really good chance to make this team. Let me go ahead and put him on the injured list. And that'll kind of solve that issue. This leaves me with 2 more pitchers got to go. Does anybody want Jose Altomar? I feel like somebody asked me for him earlier. And I think that's something that I'm interested in parting. I'm interested in parting with him now. No, nobody wants him? Okay. If it's between getting rid of Lee or if it's between getting rid of Lee or getting rid of Altomar, it's getting rid of Altomar. Or is it Lee? Lee still has upside. Like, Lee still has the potential to be, like, a nice pitcher. The alternative is that we demote James Conway. And maybe that's the right choice. Maybe we demote Conway, let him keep working on his shit. Yeah, that works. I still gotta get rid of one more pitcher, though. Fuck. Wait. Oh, Ambrosio is still on the club, isn't he? Okay. Ambrosio's actually pretty good. Let's get Adam Wiley back in AAA to start the season. I feel bad because I keep jerking him around. But I think his literal best role is to be an everyday starter in AAA and stretch out his arm and give me meaningful innings there, and then he can come back to the majors. I'm going to a lot of trouble to keep Nick Lee. I hope I don't regret it. Oh, I'm going to demote Varner. Just kidding, Wiley. I need a starter. Varner is not that. Yeah, because you get to be my emergency starter, long reliever, and if Picard fucks up, then you get the first crack at being a starting pitcher. I'm going to swap. No, I'm just going to leave it as is. This is fine. I want Ambrosio to also be my lefty killer, who also does some middle relief work. Everything else here is fine. Alright, pitching staff set. Position flex. I'm not going to carry 3 catchers, so I think we say goodbye to Christian French for the moment. I like Gutierrez more than I like Kuroda, so we're going to demote him. Although potentially we can end up having both. Manning demoted. Brian Bittner, get your butt into Double A. I think that's the best place for you. Edwin Lucio, get your butt into Triple A, probably. Steve Myers, I have nowhere better to put you, so maybe you can stay. I haven't decided yet. Pacala can go. Anderson can go. It comes down to Beamish or Kubek, really. Um, let me start setting up the lineups and everything, and then we can go from there. Alright, we're going to start with right-handed pitching. Clear all depth charts, please. We're going to start here. Alright, Alberto Maini is the #1 guy. And then from there, it's all up in the air right now. I think it's probably Shiflett, then Barry. Then I guess Chris Hernandez playing right field. And also a little bit of power hitting fifth as well. Maybe this is where Carlos Gutierrez slots in as the DH. Then we had Dan Halpern 6th. I think that's a great place to hit him. Left field, I guess, is Armando Beltran by default. It could also be John Beamish, I suppose, if we wanted to give him more of a role, but I don't think we do. Yeah, I guess it's Beltran. Okay, fine. Hernandez is most definitely hitting 9th. Like, he is not here to be a great hitter. He's here to play defense. And then Pack Jr. is our center fielder. Give me a depth chart on this, please. If you want to play Beamish regularly, I don't have a problem with that. I do think 3 games is slightly too many for Samson, who's not a great. I guess Samson's not that bad a catcher. But we actually started Samson. Starting Samson would completely change the complexion of this offense, so I think that's what we do. As much as I greatly enjoy his defense, I think having Samson to hit 6th, or hell, no, he'll hit 5th. This makes us a better team. It makes us a genuinely better team to have someone with Joel Samson's power as a threat in the middle of the lineup. And you can start once a week at catcher. This all works out. Okay. I'm going to copy this lineup over. But I'm going to make some changes. The first big change is Mr. Hernandez is at least marginally competent against left-handed pitching, which is something I cannot say for Mr. Samson, so we're going to swap this out. And then he's going to move way down. Kubek is going to be our DH against right-handed pitching. Left-handed pitching, excuse me. And then I think John Beamish plays left field against these people. No, sorry, Halpern is fine. It's Hernandez I want to move down. There we go. Cool. And then we literally just removed Gutierrez from the lineup. That was all that needed to happen there. And let me copy this lineup and paste it here. Then I remove Kubek. Actually, Kubek plays left field. I know Kubek's not a great outfielder, but I'd rather have him in the lineup than Beamish at this relative stage of their careers. All right. So this is our opening day roster. Oh no, I still got to get rid of a player, don't I? That's a decision I have to make. Okay. Yeah. Realistically, I can't keep Beamish and Kubek, can I? Because Steve Myers has a role to play, which is actually the center fielder that I can kind of trust. So I think Myers goes to the minors. I think that's the correct answer right now. Beamish can handle center field in an emergency, and I'd rather that happen than us play somebody so obviously ill-suited for the major leagues. 7 games, please. Generate 7 games. Generate. Cool. Okay, this is very good news. Very, very good news. Alright, so what are we talking about right now? What does this team look like to us? Is this a team that could win the World Series? Brian Bittmer just drastically improved his play discipline. That's awesome. Want me to win more than I lose? That's fair. Am I still dead last in minor league systems? I'm up to 28th. Wow. Fuck you, Yankees. Just in general, I'd have a problem with the Yankees like in the Civ, but I just dislike them as a general rule. So what does this team look like? This team is very mid. Their stars are very, very good. Our stars have always been very, very good. The problem is we don't have enough of them. We have players that are playing roles they're probably not well suited for. Mr. Gutierrez here is doing his Edwin Hernandez impression. The microsecond he is healthy, Edwin Hernandez is coming back. He's going to play every day as the DH. It's going to be great. Rios comes back in 2 weeks, and then we have a decision to make. The Rios problem is a difficult one to solve. Bill Shiflett is a good player, but he's also very highly compensated, and he's not able to justify that salary. And he can't play the outfield. If he could play the outfield with any level of skill, I would very strongly consider it. A world where Edwin Hernandez can play first base and Danny Rios can DH is a world where I think I'm a great deal happier. Like, he genuinely cost us a win in the field with how badly he played left field last year. That's not good. Um, is there a market for Bill Shiflett, and what does that market look like? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Mark Waits is pretty good, but hmm. Zach Carter's not bad. Hmm. I like Mark Waits quite a bit, actually. I think he's got a very big future in the majors. If you look at just multiplayer package, does that change anything? Not really. It becomes people trying to dump salary. I hate having 3 players for 2 spots. Of whom 2 are vitally important to our success as a baseball team. I could play Shiflett at second, and then Halpern is bumped out, and then I don't know what to do with Halpern. That also hurts the defense pretty substantially. Like, it's not a good thing for your second baseman to be error prone. I guess the question is he a better second baseman than Rios is an outfielder? And that's probably true. Like, that's probably an accurate statement. And then Halpern, I guess it's Isbell's spot, because then Halpern can drop down to being. That feels rude to Halpern, though, who actually had a really good year. It's tough. It is tough. Hmm. There is zero universe in which Hernandez and Rios aren't activated the split second they're both healthy. Like, that is a non-starter. We need their offense. Even when he's punting on defense, we need their offense. And it's not like Armando Beltran, who is a good left fielder. I'm not saying he's not a good left fielder. It's not like he's going to be the player that changes our fortunes as a franchise. I just wish Rios could handle left field at all. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Because this is a thinker for me. Also, fans would probably be pissed off at me if I traded him. I don't know, guys. It's really difficult for me to evaluate this. Edwin Hernandez would just be a dumpster fire in the outfield. 3 players for 2 slots sucks. But it is the world that we are presently inhabiting. For better or worse. Currently worse. Currently worse. Like, Shipwood is very clearly not as valuable to me as Hernandez or Rios. Like, if it was purely a decision of whose roster spot, that's a non-starter. I guess the solution is Shiplet plays second, Isbell goes to the minors, Rios DHs, and Hernandez plays first. That's probably the answer, and I hate it. I really dislike it because it's taking someone who is better than Shiflet and benching him, which doesn't feel great to me. Like, objectively, Shiflet was the lesser player of the two. He's an outstanding on base guy, really good defender. How bad could he possibly be at second base? Probably fairly bad. And I guess I'd rather punt on outfield defense than I'd rather punt on infield defense. Like, what is Rios' problem? His problem is that he's a statue. He doesn't get to balls. Now, we have significantly upgraded our center field situation. Maybe this is going to help us out. Maybe this is what we were looking for. We were looking for a fairly competent center fielder to cover for Rios. Maybe we can play Rios in left field, and it'll be okay this year. But it is definitely a weird problem to have. And not necessarily a good one either. Because as much as I love Halpern for what he did last year, it is probably not realistic for him to hit through 294. That just doesn't strike me as very likely to happen again. But it's fine. I want him to be as useful to me as long as he can be, with the understanding that, like everyone else on this franchise, he is very replaceable, except for Hernandez. Edwin Hernandez is going to cost me billions of dollars. Not literally, but maybe. I find it very difficult to say he doesn't deserve it. It is all literally going to come down to the fact is, does he come back healthy? Because I don't want to get tied up to a long-term contract with a guy that's not the same anymore. Edwin Hernandez, at his full powers, is absolutely worth every penny he's asking for. Very clearly. Edwin Hernandez is an MVP caliber player. Like, that is where he is. Remember that he put up 3 wins last year on only 115 games. Playing designated hitter, where he's actually getting penalized and more because of his what's the word I'm looking for? Because of the position adjustment. And he still was worth almost 4 wins. Despite not even playing the full year. Yeah, I mean, he gets to name his own price. That's just the world that we live in. For now. But yeah, so this is a real conundrum, and I'm definitely going to give some nice long thoughts about it, and I very much want to hear your thoughts as well, my friends. See what you all think, what the correct answer to this problem is. Is Doy ready to go? He's not ready to go, that's fine. Chris Waters is now wrecked in terms of injury proneness, which is just lovely. I tell you what, if low-key, the most interesting player on this roster is Picard. Because he's the kind of pitcher that generally doesn't do very well in the major leagues, because he doesn't throw strikes consistently. If he can step up this year and strike out so many hitters and allow so few hits that it doesn't matter how many walks he does, I think we've got a real low-key top-tier rotation. And rotation was bad last year. Rotation was one of the worst in the American League. This can very much rebound with a healthy Chris Waters with Charles and with Garcia building up another year, Charles pitching well enough, and of course Andrew Picard. He's really the secret to this season. If he does have a great season, everything else looks better. Doy has to be 1,000% better. He's being paid stupid amounts of money to pitch like a number 4 starter. And it's just not going to cut it for me. He has to have a great year. The rotation has to be better. It has to. And if it isn't, then we're going to have a really rough time of it. Fortunately, the lineup should be back to reasonably full strength in 2 weeks. So you shouldn't lose too much ground. And hey, if guys like Gutierrez and Beltran want to show that they might have a chance to stick in the Major League roster at some point, then I'll give them that opportunity. But what I will say is thank you for watching. As always, like and subscribe, comment down below. Especially share your thoughts on the Shiplet situation. How we rectify this problem of 3 players for 2 spots. But until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.